Good morning everyone, my name's Monica and I thought I'd try something a little bit different this week and give you your feedback from the online activity you set last week through a video clip. So hopefully it's a good way of us connecting together a bit more and you feel like you're a little bit more involved, because I know as our groups get smaller, working through the distance program, it can be a little bit disconnected, so I thought maybe this might be a good way of trying things out. Anyway, I hope you've all had a great weekend and you have the sun shining where you are. Well, the sun is finally shining here in Palmerston North. It feels like it's been forever, so looking forward to getting outside this evening and mowing the lawns and doing a few jobs and enjoying that. Anyway, back to last week's task. Thank you very much to everybody who participated in the online activity. I can see a real flurry over the weekend, so I take it that many of you are using your weekends to get your study done, which is absolutely fine. I don't mind that at all, as long as you are participating. This is a 300 level paper, and so the expectations are higher than many of the other papers which you've engaged in terms of the academic level of understanding that you need to show. So I highly recommend that you fully engage. Not only in the online activities, but that you're reading the class notes and doing all of the readings in order to make sure you have the best possible understandings. So last week, your online task required you to talk about the observation types that you'd either seen when you were out on practicum, or you'd seen used in other experiences, or that you'd been reading about. It was really, really good to see a range of observation techniques coming through there. A little bit, perhaps not surprising, but a little bit worrying is the over-reliance in early childhood settings in particular on anecdotal observations and learning stories rather than using the full breadth of observation tools and strategies that we have available to us. So that's something I definitely want you to keep in mind, not just when you're out on practicum, but also when you're out teaching yourselves, and that actually we need to be collecting data about what we know about children and their capabilities through a range of sources, not just relying on anecdotal observation. And of course that means both those formal and the informal observations that we've been talking about this week. So when you're out on practicum, you need to be carrying out a range of those as an opportunity to get used to them, to try them out, to find out the kind of information they give you, so that you're familiar with which type to use when. Obviously, when you're out on prac, it's possible that settings are going to say to you, oh, we don't do that anymore, we used to do that, but it's a waste of time. That is definitely not the case, and certainly the readings that I've been sharing with you over the last couple of weeks and the coming weeks should make that point really, really clear. So just remember that what you're learning in class is really important, as well as what you see and hear on practicum, but balancing out those two. It was great to see in some of the discussions the reference was made to the need to share the information that's gathered, and how some schools and early childhood services are using ICT through Facebook and blogs and e-portfolios and things for sharing children's learning and assessment and planning, which is a fantastic way that we can connect with families who perhaps we don't see that often. But as was pointed out, it is also important that we seek, find, create opportunities to talk face-to-face with families and to give them hard copies of things as well. So we still need to be doing that, and that the ICT becomes another tool we can add in over the top for connecting with families. But yeah, we shouldn't be just relying on one method of anything. A couple of people talked about how challenging running records can be. I know within schools, obviously, running records relate specifically to reading, but running records can also be used in schools and in early childhood services to document that bigger, broader, richer picture of what children are doing. A really good option that you can think about is to use video or audio recordings in order to capture that, rather than you trying to write down furiously everything that's happening. By using video and audio, it also creates an opportunity that you can be part of it, so you can then sit back and evaluate your teaching responses and the strategies that you used. Of course, there's ethical responsibilities around audio and video and the storage of it, who owns it, who has access to it, and those things. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later on, particularly in PIP, where we talk about ethics there. Also, just final tip, please remember that it doesn't matter what type of assessment tool you're using, whether it be observation or a test or whatever. It's really, really important that we use the information or the data that we gather in a credit-based way. So we're looking at what children can do, where their strengths and interests are, in order to support their learning to come wider, deeper, broader. Yeah, particularly with tests, there's a bit of a tendency to use them as, okay, well, this is what the child doesn't know. Okay, we can look at what the child doesn't yet know, but how can we use it in a credit-based way and take their strengths and their interests and build on from there in order to enhance their understanding in those areas that they're yet to develop. So hopefully some little tidbits for you there across everything that's been shared. I hope you're having a wonderful week. I won't be posting these video clips every week, but I'm going to try and do them most weeks. So I will always put a message up in the beginning of the week's teaching block to let you know if there's one there or if there isn't, and hopefully you enjoyed them. If you have any feedback, please do feel free to email me, either with positive feedback or critique, things I could be doing better, and I'll definitely try and take that on board. Anyway, have a wonderful week, everybody. See you soon.